Live from Southwest Florida's news leader, this is Wink News This Morning.
And we're tracking Tropical Storm Erika this morning, located to the south of Puerto Rico. Very disorganized, but big changes in the forecast track. I'll have those straight ahead.
The charges have been filed out of state against Jimmy Rogers. Jimmy Rogers will be charged in the death of Dr. Sievers.
A major update in the murder of Bonita Springs Dr. Teresa Sievers. 2 men are under arrest, but not in Southwest Florida. They're in Missouri. Wink News reporter Adam Wright is live in St. Louis this morning with the latest on the arrests. And Wink News reporter Stephanie Susskind is live in Lee County for the community's reaction. We'll check in with them coming up.
Today, former Presidents George W. Bush and Bill Clinton joined President Obama in Louisiana for the 10-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Wink News is live in New Orleans. It's ahead on Wink News this morning. Good morning. It is Friday, August 28th. I'm Jen Stacy.
And I'm Sean Kreisman in for Rob Spicker. Tropical Storm Erika making its way closer and closer towards Florida. And this morning, Wink News has brand new video of a scary scene in the Caribbean. Take a look. This is from Roseau, the capital of Dominica. The storm caused the Roseau River to overflow, sending a torrent of water through the capital streets. At least 4 deaths are blamed on Erika, and dozens of people are now missing.
Wink News is the weather authority. Let's get right over to meteorologist Joey Sovine, who has the latest on the storm and its potential impact on Southwest Florida. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. And we're tracking it on live Doppler radar out of San Juan, Puerto Rico this morning. A large area of rainfall.
That's your Wink News traffic, Sean.
Grace, thank you. The murder of Bonita Springs Dr. Teresa Sievers is, in the words of Lee County Sheriff Mike Scott, one of the most high-profile and complicated investigations LCSO has ever faced.
And this morning, 2 men are in custody in connection with this case, more than 1,000 miles away in Missouri. Jimmy Rogers and Curtis Wainwright are facing murder charges in the killing of Dr. Sievers, who sources tell us was beaten to death with the claw end of a hammer nearly 2 months ago.
Wink News has live team coverage this morning with Wink News reporters Stephanie Susskind and Adam Wright. Adam is in St. Louis, where Rogers will be in court this very morning. That's where we begin. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Sean and Jen. Just hours from now, Jimmy Rogers will appear in federal court behind me here in downtown St. Louis, but not for the murder of Dr. Teresa Sievers. He's actually here for a detention hearing on a different charge. Now, here's what we know about these 2 men. We know Rogers and Wright at least know of each other. They are friends on Facebook. Wright is also a longtime friend of Teresa's husband, Mark. They've known each other since grade school. Wink News is still working to find out the connection between Teresa Sievers and Rogers, if there is one. We spoke to Dr. Sievers' sister. She tells us the girlfriend of Jimmy Rogers is the one who actually turned him in. We know he will be in court today for a detention hearing for a probation violation. Documents show Rogers was spotted at a Fort Myers Walmart the day before Sievers was murdered, but he didn't have permission to leave Missouri. We are working to find out whether Curtis Wainwright will make an appearance today as well. Another question we're asking today is when these men will be extradited back to Lee County to face murder charges in Southwest Florida. I will be in the courtroom this morning and we'll have live updates throughout the day. But for now, we are continuing our live coverage, our live complete team coverage with Stephanie Susskind, who's live in Estero outside Dr. Sievers' office with how the community there is reacting to these arrests. Stephanie?
Thank you, Adam. Well, Dr. Sievers saw patients here at her practice, Restorative Health and Healing. Her husband, Mark Sievers, the office manager here. And as you can imagine, people who knew Dr. Sievers, friends, neighbors, family members, all happy and relieved to hear the news of these 2 arrests in that case. And we're now hearing from her sister, Annie Lisa, about this news and what she has to say. She says she is thankful for the arrests, and she even shared brand new pictures with Wink News showing her and Teresa during happy times, smiling and enjoying each other's company. She says that Teresa was a pillar of wisdom for the family. She says everyone looked up to her, and she says that they were always having a good time together. Now, neighbors also tell Wink News they are happy to finally have some answers.
I'm very pleased. It gives the neighborhood some closure. The neighborhood's been very upset the last couple months because they left us in the dark.
Want to know the whole story, want to know what's going on, the whole story. But at least they finally caught the person who done it.
Now, of course, there are still a lot of questions in this case. This is a very developing story. You can count on Wink News for updates. We do know from neighbors that Mark Sievers and their 2 daughters are living back at the home on Jarvis Road, though they keep to themselves and always keep the security lights on. Live in Estero, Stephanie Suskind, Wink News this morning.
And of course, Wink News is making this story one of our top priorities with multiple crews working every angle. We have coverage on Wink News and on winknews.com all day long. You can count on us for any new details.
Today, a Southwest Florida college student is expected to return to Florida after being seriously injured in a car crash in Cuba nearly a month ago. Barbara Jimenez will be flown home through the help of U.S. Congressman David Jolly and a donation from Jet ICU, which is an air ambulance company. Jimenez and John Fox were nearly killed when a truck hit their taxi. John's insurance was able to bring him home, but Barbara's expired, leaving her stranded. Switching gears, tomorrow is the 10th anniversary of the landfall of Hurricane Katrina, but today 3 U.S. presidents are in New Orleans to mark the occasion.
President Obama has already spent some time in the Crescent City touring the 9th Ward. Today, former Presidents Bill Clinton and George W. Bush will also be in the city. Bush was not even a year into his second term when Katrina hit. Coming up later in the show, Wink News has a live report from New Orleans with more on this weekend's anniversary. Thank you so much for making Wink News this morning your #1 choice for morning news.
Could Tropical Storm Erika affect your weekend plans? Right after the break, Wink News meteorologist Joey Silvine has that answer with our weather on the ones forecast. It is 6:08. You're watching Wink News this morning.
Wink News.
That's your Wink News traffic. Sean, Jen.
Live. This is Wink News Campaign Central.
New information from Campaign Central this morning. Republican presidential candidate Marco Rubio is in Charleston, South Carolina this morning to discuss part of his foreign policy.
He's specifically talking about how he plans to deal with China if elected president. Rubio will be speaking to the Charleston Metro Chamber's World Trade Center, but also wrote an op-ed piece that will be in today's Wall Street Journal. He writes, quote, "A strong America, militarily, economically, and morally, is the only path to lasting peace and partnership between the U.S. and China." Another Republican presidential candidate is also outlining foreign policy today in South Carolina. Scott Walker will give a speech at the Citadel in South Carolina. Walker, like fellow candidate Rubio, is outspoken of President Obama's handling of China. The Wisconsin Republican is asking the president to cancel an official state visit with China's president. Walker says President Obama should not be offering a state visit to the leader of a country behind cyber attacks in the United States.
As for the Democrats, several presidential candidates, including frontrunner Hillary Clinton, will address DNC members at a meeting in Minneapolis today. Her remarks come on the heels of a new national poll that shows Vice President Joe Biden with a bigger lead than Clinton over Republican frontrunner Donald Trump. Biden has yet to declare a third run for presidency. Bernie Sanders, Martin O'Malley, and Lincoln Chafee are also scheduled to speak to attendees starting today.
Today, wireless carrier Sprint is going after competitor AT&T in a bold and big way. Sprint is offering DirecTV customers 1 free year of cell phone service. AT&T bought the satellite service last month and has since promoted a video wireless package that knocks $10 a month off of a combined bill. Well, Sprint's offer is good for up to 5 lines on a single account. Each line gets 2 gigabytes of data each month and unlimited calls and texts. This promotion runs today through the end of September.
Not a bad deal.
Wow, free service for a year?
Yeah, take that.
Pretty good. All new on Wink today is the 20th Air Guitar World Championships from Finland.
A record 30 guitarists from a dozen countries participated, but only 8 advanced to today's final to compete against another 7 automatic qualifiers. It should be no surprise the competition started as a joke by a Finnish musician and somehow went another 20 years. It's men and women pantomiming their hearts to rock music, and how can you go wrong with that?
It's perfect for those who don't have a lot of talent other than showmanship.
Oh my goodness.
It's entertaining to say the least.
That out. You need long hair, I think.
Oh yeah, I think so. You gotta have the head-banging look, right? Thank you so much, Southwest Florida, for making Wink News this morning your #1 choice for morning news. We appreciate you starting out your day with us.
And right after the break, Wink News meteorologist Joey Silvine joins us with your weather on the ones forecast. We'll also have the latest on Tropical Storm Erika. It is 6:18. You're watching Wink News this morning.
That's your Wink News traffic. Sean, Jen?
You know, it's hot these days in Southwest Florida, so any chance we get to get inside and cool down is very much welcomed.
Yeah, especially when you could be entertained and raise money for a great cause. So where's Wink now? Wink News reporter John Treeweiler is live at 6 with the answer. And are you on skates yet? That's the
I
big
am
question.
on skates, Sean and Jen. Good morning to you right here at Germain Arena. The skaters wanted to teach me how to glide in on one foot. Can I do this? Hey!
Careful.
Come on to me, Paul. We're good. Okay.
good.
We did okay. Would that be a point? Would I get a point for any of that?
Yeah, a little bit of skating skills.
Yeah, a little bit of skating skills, you got it.
Skating skills. We're here for Skate for Hope. I'm still learning, obviously. We're here at the Olympic ice dancers from the Canadian team. This is so cool, guys. Talk to us about this event this weekend. I know, Paul, this is your 4th time as a team out here. You're really excited about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just such a great event. It's, as Piper said in the last segment, it's so much fun for us headliners to just get together and skate with a little bit less pressure. I think it's so nice, too, to see all the young kids that have put so much time and effort into preparing the show, and they're so excited to skate with us, and just to see
Some of their heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, to be
Because
able
it's
to
not
that.
just Olympians out here skating this weekend. There's little kids, too, and they've got some talent.
No,
Yeah.
they really do. And I think when we were younger, we really looked up to those skaters. And for us to be able to skate with them, it kind of just gives them that more of an incentive to keep going and keep improving on their skills. So it's great to be able to do that with a great cause. It's amazing.
We're going to see some exciting stuff this weekend. Don't worry, I will not be skating in the event. But Paul and Piper, well, with some other folks, maybe they'll recruit me by the end of the morning. What's your favorite part about coming to this, and what's your probably favorite trick to do, Paul?
Coming to this, like Skate for Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, just skating without pressure
Yeah.
is so different from a competition. It's so nice, and it's just so nice. It's great that we can interact with the crowd and really just focus on entertaining them versus getting points.
We got to go, but can you show us something real quick? Show us something real quick. Jen and Sean, check this out. I can't skate, but Paul and Piper can. They go out, they're going to come back in. This is going to be pretty cool.
We're watching.
They make it look effortless, don't they? It's amazing.
Yeah, it is good. It's almost as good as John Treeweiler.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm going to do that in about 15 minutes.
But Tree, you were so graceful as you skated in. At least you didn't wipe out. That was good.
Hey, we got that going for us, exactly.
All right, practice up. Don't get too bruised.
Don't hurt yourself. We need to see you in a little bit.
We want to feature your nonprofit organization, special fundraising event, or unique attraction or business in our Where's Wink Now segments. Send an email to thismorning@winknews.com. Let us know what's going on. And we'll send Tree out there. As you can see, he always has a pretty good time, and we love to share some of the great and positive things happening in our community.
As we head to break, here's a look at the latest images of Tropical Storm Erika. Coming up, your weather on the ones with Wink News meteorologist Joey Silvine. Stay with us. You're watching Wink News This Morning.
When you need your jewelry repaired, who do you trust? How about that custom piece you've been dreaming of, or taking something old?
Live from Southwest Florida's news leader, this is Wink News This Morning.
Welcome back to Wink News This Morning. It is 6:30. I'm Sean Kreisman in for Rob Spicker.
And I'm Jen Stacy. We are tracking the tropics right now, also wondering how this is going to impact our weekend. We want to check in with meteorologist Joey Silvine. How's Erika looking right now?
Erika is very disorganized, which
Central Wink News traffic. Sean, Jen?
Teresa, thank you. Right now, we're continuing our coverage of a double arrest in the murder of Bonita Springs Dr. Teresa Sievers.
2 men are now in custody in connection with the case. Jimmy Rogers and Curtis Wainwright are facing murder charges. Rogers will be in a Missouri court today on an unrelated probation violation charge. It's unclear when he'll be extradited back to Southwest Florida to face murder charges. Documents show Rogers was spotted at a Fort Myers Walmart the day before Sievers was murdered, but he didn't have permission to leave Missouri. Lee County Sheriff Mike Scott says this is one of the most complicated cases he has ever investigated.
From the first contact, immediately the sheriff's office engaged with a tenacious focus like none other. The levels of expertise, the tenacity here is like nothing I've ever seen. I've commented to some of you sidebar that it's the most complicated, intricate set of circumstances that most of us have ever seen.
We are working to find out whether Wright will also make an appearance today. Our team coverage will continue in about 10 minutes in the Wink Wake Up with live coverage from Missouri.
Today, the plaza where the deadly shooting of a television news crew in Virginia happened will reopen. And also this morning, Wink News is learning funeral plans have been finalized for photographer Adam Ward. A memorial service will be held Monday afternoon at Salem High School's auditorium. Ward's family is asking everyone to either wear Salem Spartan or Virginia Tech colors. The 27-year-old's funeral will be held on Tuesday at 11 in Roanoke. Ward and reporter Allison Parker were gunned down Wednesday. Parker's parents are now challenging the president to push for stiffer gun laws and also challenging the media.
This is one of your own. And, you know, I know how the business works. It's a great story for a couple of days, and then it goes to the back burner and nothing happens. But I can promise you, and I can promise the American people, I'm not going to rest until I see something get done here.
The man you see here, police say killed him. That's Vester Flanagan. He was a former employee of the TV station where Ward and Parker worked. Also, just in this morning, we're learning Vicki Gardner, the third person shot in this attack, is in good condition, but lost a kidney and part of her colon. She faces 3 months of recovery.
New overnight, a student at Savannah State University in Georgia died in a late-night campus shooting. This prompted a campus-wide lockdown, which has since been lifted. The student killed was a junior, Christopher Starks. A statement from the college says he died at a hospital from gunshot wounds. That shooting happened in the college's student union on Thursday night. As of now, no arrests have been made. Today in Missouri, a man accused of killing 3 people at 2 Jewish sites is expected to present his defense in court. Frazier Gellen Miller Jr. admits to killing 3 Christians last year because he thought they were Jewish. He's pleading not guilty to capital murder and is representing himself. He fired his lawyers back in May. Miller claims Jewish people are committing genocide against the white race, and it was his duty to stop them.
Today, an autopsy will be performed on NBA great Darryl Dawkins. The 58-year-old died Thursday. His family said the cause was a heart attack. Dawkins made history in 1975, becoming the first player ever to be drafted directly from high school into the NBA. He played for 15 seasons, but was known for his dunks as much as his long career. In 1979, he shattered 2 backboards in 2 separate games, but those who knew Dawkins personally remember him for his warm personality.
Some more severe punishments have been handed down for this big brawl at a preseason football game. The Florida High School Athletic Association announced today it is suspending 6 North Fort Myers football players for 6 weeks each. A 7th player was suspended for 1 week, along with a player from South Fort Myers. 2 other South Fort Myers players were also suspended for 6 weeks. In a statement, the school district says it supports the ruling. On No One Wink, the table is nearly set for the Little League World Series Championships after this awesome walk-off. Take a look.
Oh, slow one left field and deep. And gone! It's all over. Texas wins it with a homer.
Wow, California pulled ahead 7-6 in the top of the 2nd extra inning, but in the bottom of the 8th, the Texas hitter Caleb Lowe sends a 2-run shot out of the park for the walk-off win. That was actually his first hit of the entire World Series. Texas will now face Pennsylvania in the American Championship game. You know those guys got to feel good.
That is awesome. So much talent in those young athletes. Pretty impressive.
Exciting stuff there. Thank you, Southwest Florida, for making Wink News this morning your #1 choice for morning news.
Coming up right after the break, Wink meteorologist Joey Sovine is back in with our weather on the One's forecast. Our time right now is 6:37.
That's your Wake News traffic.
It's time for your Wink Wake Up. It's all you need to know before you go. A double arrest made in the murder of Bonita Springs Dr. Teresa Sievers.
Wink News has team coverage right now in the Wink Wake Up, and we start with Wink News reporter Adam Wright, who is live in St. Louis, where the 2 men are locked up. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Jen and Sean. Hours from now, Jimmy Rogers will appear in federal court here in downtown St. Louis, but not for the murder of Dr. Teresa Sievers. He's actually here for a detention hearing on a different charge. Now, here's what we know about these 2 suspects right now. We know Rogers and Wright at least know of each other. They are friends on Facebook. Wright is also a longtime friend of Teresa's husband, Mark. They've known each other since grade school. Wink News is still working to find out the connection between Teresa Sievers and Rogers, if there is one. We spoke to Dr. Sievers' sister, who says the girlfriend of Jimmy Rogers turned him in. We know he will be in court today for a detention hearing for a probation violation. Documents show Rogers was spotted at a Fort Myers Walmart the day before Sievers was murdered, but he didn't have permission to leave Missouri. We're working to find out whether Curtis Wayne Wright will also make an appearance today. Another question we'll be asking is when these 2 men might be extradited back to Lee County to face murder charges in Southwest Florida. I'll be in the courtroom, and we'll have live updates throughout the day. Live in the Wink Wake Up, Adam Wright, Wink News this morning.
Adam, thank you. Now our team coverage continues with Wink News reporter Stephanie Susskind. She's live in Estero this morning outside Dr. Seaver's office. Steph, how are the community themselves taking these arrests?
Well, as you can imagine, friends, neighbors, and family members of Dr. Teresa Sievers are very relieved to finally hear news of 2 people arrested for her murder. This is where she treated patients at Restorative Health and Healing in Estero. Her husband, Mark Sievers, the office manager here. Now, we're hearing from Dr. Sievers' sister, Annie Lisa. For the first time, she's sharing all new pictures with Wink News of happy times shared with her sister. She called Teresa Sievers a pillar of wisdom for the family, says they all miss her every day, and the family, everyone really looked up to her. Now, she's also telling Wink News that Warren Wright, was a good friend of Mark Sievers. They were introduced to him before as a friend of his. We're working to learn more about all of the connections between the Sievers family and Wright, as well as possibly with Jimmy Rogers. Of course, a lot of unanswered questions in this case. Count on Wink News for answers as we learn them. Live in the Wink Wake Up, Stephanie Susskind, Wink News this morning.
We're continuing the Wink Wake Up with a look at the top stories we're following all morning on Wink News.
Today, a Southwest Florida college student is expected to return to Florida after being seriously injured in a car crash in Cuba nearly a month ago. Barbara Jimenez will be flown home through the help of U.S. Congressman David Jolly and a donation from Jet ICU, which is an air ambulance company. John's insurance was able to bring him home, but Barbara's expired, leaving her stranded.
The tragedy in Virginia is renewing calls for stronger gun laws. WDBJ reporter Allison Parker and cameraman Adam Ward were gunned down on live TV Wednesday by former colleague Vester Flanagan, who legally purchased 2 pistols close to the station. Authorities say the gunman, who took his own life, was carrying 3 license plates, a wig, and a to-do list in his getaway car.
A shooting at a Georgia university has left 1 student dead and the shooter still on the loose this morning. A campus-wide lockdown was put in place at Savannah State College after a shooting in the student union. The lockdown has since been lifted. The student killed was a junior, Christopher Starks, and a statement from the college says that he died at a hospital from gunshot wounds. As of right now, no arrests have been made. Now, this morning, 2 former U.S. presidents are joining President Obama in New Orleans as we mark the 10th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina.
The powerful storm made landfall as a Category 3 hurricane, bringing huge storm surges along the Gulf Coast and wiping out homes, businesses, and lives. Breached levees left New Orleans underwater and sparked days of rescues and recoveries. Ryan Nobles is live in the Crescent City this morning. Ryan, what is planned for the weekend ahead?
Well, it's going to be a busy weekend of remembering the lives lost. Remember, more than 1,800 people were killed because of Hurricane Katrina here 10 years ago. And there's also a focus on the recovery. Even though much of New Orleans has been rebuilt, the downtown is vibrant once again. Plenty of tourists are back here in town. There are still many of these communities that are suffering. The lower 9th Ward still is in rough shape. President Obama was here yesterday and toured the Treme neighborhood, which is a predominantly African-American neighborhood, and talked about the recovery there, the improvement in the schools. But also focus on the work that still needs to be done. You mentioned 2 other presidents will be here. President Bush will be here today. He, of course, was in office during the disaster. And then President Clinton will be here on Saturday. Certainly not a celebratory mood here in New Orleans, but there is quite a bit of remembrance as to what happened here 10 years ago. And a lot of people congratulating themselves in many respects for all the work that has been done.
Ryan, we know that after Katrina, a lot of people left New Orleans. Have many returned? What is the population like now?
Well, there was a significant percentage of the population that was forced to flee when Katrina hit, and many of them have not returned. And actually, President Obama yesterday had a special message for those folks who have either been unable to come back because of their own financial means or just felt that it wasn't safe enough or that the city wasn't rebuilt enough to make sense to move back. He said that if you want to return home, now is the time, that New Orleans is prepared to bring those people back to this community, and that the city that you left is still here and in many respects is better.
Ryan, we are in the middle of hurricane season right now. Are there any storms brewing that could possibly impact the city again?
Well, there isn't anything that's heading in the direction of New Orleans, but you guys in Florida are obviously concerned about the path of Tropical Storm Erika, and it is a little ironic that there is a major storm headed to the United States at the exact time that Hurricane Katrina hit 10 years ago. You know, at this point, that storm doesn't appear to be at the same level that Hurricane Katrina was, but no one expected the damage and devastation that Hurricane Katrina brought. And, you know, this city has done a lot to protect itself in the event that another storm were to come. They've beefed up their levees. They've actually moved them further away from the city. They've made some of the areas where the water pools deeper to prevent flooding in the future. So they feel that they're prepared for another disaster, but there is still very deep and haunting memories from what happened here 10 years ago.
Of course. Ryan Noble is reporting live for us in New Orleans. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
All right, let's get a check now of your weather out the door this morning.
That's your Wick News traffic. Sean, Jen?
Trace, thank you. This weekend, Olympic figure skaters will be in Southwest Florida, and not only are they here to entertain us, but they're also here to help raise money for cancer research.
So where's Wink now? Wink News reporter John Treeweiler is live in the Wink Wake Up with the answer. How many times have you fallen? Be truthful.
Truthful, 0, Jen and Sean. I'm serious. Paul and Piper will witness it. We're watching them skate here at Germain Arena. This is so cool, getting ready for Skate for Hope happening out here. The big event is tomorrow night. You're going to see athletes just like Paul and Piper out here, Olympic athletes doing their skating. Come out, show starts at 5. We're raising money for the Gallo Children's Hospital of Southwest Florida. They pass right in front of us. Look at that. Pretty impressive stuff. So far, over the course of the entire event's life, Skate for Hope has raised over $500,000 for cancer research. Pretty impressive stuff. Stay with us on the WXCW. Hopefully, we'll keep this 0 streak of falling going, Jen and Sean.
Can we at least see a turn or something
Do
from
a twirl, John.
A
What do you
turn?
got?
I can't.
A pirouette.
I've been working on my spin.
That's good.
Very good.
That's about the best I got for you.
It's better than I can do, truthfully.
Yeah, I
so
wouldn't get all those.
I'll give you that. Thank you, Tree. Time right now is 6:55. Your forecast is coming up.